A lot of people think that Jimmy Garoppolo will and should start this game. And the logic there is they've put all their eggs in his basket. Too late to change courses now. If he's healthy enough and ready to go, he should start. There's a lot of logic to that, but it assumes that he's healthy enough and ready to start. I don't see why people make that assumption because they saw him throw some passes in front of them in practice. That doesn't mean anything. What I'm more interested in is the practice reports because we didn't see the full practice. We just saw warm-ups. Then we have to go, and then they do the real stuff where they like go through the game plan and do the starters against the scout team, all that. I don't know if he did any of that stuff. They won't tell us. They said he was limited in practice, which means maybe, maybe not. It's a mystery. So limited on Wednesday, limited on Thursday, limited on Friday, which is a walkthrough. Not even a practice. They just go on the field and literally walk through the things they're going to do. Couldn't do that. Okay. And everyone thinks he's healthy and ready enough to start. Now, he hasn't been in this situation a ton. He hasn't played a lot in his career, even though he's 30. But I went back and looked. Other times that he's been coming off an injury where he didn't practice fully. There are two games that come to mind. Indianapolis this year, remember he hurt his calf against the Seahawks, missed a game. There was a bye week, came back against the Colts. He was out for a couple of weeks. Then was limited on Wednesday, limited on Thursday, full participant Friday, played that game. Wasn't listed as questionable either. Full participant Friday, just played that game, started. And then the year before against Miami, he had injured his ankle, right? Missed the Eagles game. The season was on the brink. He had to come back. Limited on Wednesday before the Miami game. Limited on Thursday. Full participant Friday because it's a walkthrough. Wasn't listed as probable, questionable. Just started. There was no mystery about who's gonna start. Started that game against Miami. Now, in both cases, there was no like, well, we want a competitive advantage of not telling who our starter is. No, they just went with Garoppolo. And again, they're not doing that this week because they think there's a competitive advantage. It's if Garoppolo's healthy enough, he's the starter. If he's not healthy enough, they're not going to talk about it, is basically what it is. It's not like they're trying to make a decision. They're just not they're not telling us if he's healthy enough. And all I know is this is his track record. Twice in his career, he started games without the full week of preparation. Those two games, Miami in 2020 and Indianapolis in 2021. What happened in those games? Well, the Niners lost both of them. Against Miami, Jimmy Garoppolo was 7 of 17 for 77 yards and 2 picks before he left at halftime. And then against Indianapolis, he was 16 to 27 for 181 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks, and the Niners lost by 12. So everyone's saying Jimmy needs to start against the Rams because he's had this track record of success against the Rams. That's true. But what's his track record playing when he hasn't had the full week of preparation and practice? I think that's an important thing to look at because if you put those numbers together, 2 starts, he's 23 of 44, 258 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 picks, 39.8 passer rating, and 2 losses. Do you really trust Jimmy Garoppolo starting this game or any game when he hasn't practiced fully that week? I mean, he's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not Trent Williams. If you were talking about someone who is a master at his craft, an elite player at his position, you'd say, I don't care if he practices or not. He's going to be great one way or another. Put him on the field. But Jimmy's not one of those guys. I mean, if he has the full week of practice, he might play well that week. He might. But if he doesn't have the full week of practice, it looks like he doesn't play particularly well because he's not that great. And he needs a lot of preparation just to have a chance to play well. Two opportunities so far in his career to just sort of roll out of bed and play football, and it didn't go well. Niners lost both games by a lot, by double digits. So I don't see how starting a rusty, injured Jimmy Garoppolo is the no-brainer solution right now. I know it's uncomfortable to start Trey Lance, the rookie, in his 4th career start in such a critical game, but I don't see how there's a choice here. And I don't think the Niners are going to I think they're going to start Trey Lance. I think they're drawing out the suspense because they're going to start Trey Lance. If they were going to start Jimmy Garoppolo, there'd be no suspense. they'd say he's our starting quarterback. He's going to start. He progressed as the week went on. He was a full participant in walkthrough. No problem. But that's not what happened. He was a limited participant in walkthrough, and the team is very tight-lipped on what he can do. Jimmy Garoppolo himself said it feels like the webbing in his hand is tearing off every time he throws. Does that sound like a guy who's going to play? Doesn't to me. Sounds like a guy who's trying to show how tough he is. I respect that. But history, the numbers do not back up starting Jimmy Garoppolo without a full week of practice. Now, it's possible that the numbers don't back up starting a rookie in this situation either. The Niners are in a tough spot. Maybe neither quarterback brings home the win in this one, but I would not start Jimmy Garoppolo unless he were 100% healthy and 100% and had 100% of the reps in practice that week. Otherwise, I think he's a disaster waiting to happen. He's a disaster waiting to happen sometimes when he's had all the reps. Look at Tennessee 2 weeks ago. He was fully prepped for that game. Still missed Kyle Juszczyk deep. So, yeah, I think while they're not saying it, don't be surprised when Jimmy Garoppolo's inactive. I know they got your hopes up, but he wasn't even a full participant in the walkthrough. To me, that was the test. If he could be a full participant in walkthrough, he'd probably play like he did against Miami and Indianapolis, but he wasn't. So I think what they're going to say is, hey, man, he's as tough as they come. The fact that he made it this much of a decision is amazing. He just couldn't physically do it. Anyway, that's my prediction.